It's easy to think the world's next great tech companies will come from Silicon Valley, New York, or Toronto. But innovators from around the world beg to differ, and I'm out to discover who they are and where they're from. From Addis to Jakarta, from Dakar to Bogota, I'm Dan Herman, and this is their world, our future. If the COVID-19 pandemic and its airborne nature has taught us anything, hopefully it's that we need to pay far more attention to air quality. And it's silly that we don't, given that every year over 5 million people die prematurely thanks to airborne pollution, mostly in fast-growing emerging markets. It's not surprising then that solutions are emerging from one of those fast-growing emerging markets, namely Peru, where entrepreneur Monica Abarca is building her company, qAirA, to help communities monitor, track, and ultimately improve their air quality. Monica Abarca, you are the co-founder and CEO of qAirA. You'll correct my pronunciation. But a Lima, Peru-based company that focuses on the production of drones for the purpose of monitoring air pollution. And air pollution is part of the global environmental challenge probably that we forget about the most. Why did you start the company, and why are you focused on tackling this problem?
Well, Dan, you're right about pollution. It's, let's say, a silent killer, and it has been a problem that not many people is aware of. You know that air pollution nowadays causes more deaths in the world than COVID. And this problem is not only related to pollution itself, but also related to the data that there is available for government institutions, for citizenship, for companies to act on that data. And that's where we decided to develop alternative technologies, low-cost technologies that can give to the institutions the power to have the data, and with that information, implement action plans to improve air quality. So we equip the drones with sensor technology to monitor gases and particulate matter that are the main sources of air pollution. And we do the monitoring in two ways: with the drones on an aerial basis to have a larger area of sample. And then we also do a fixed monitoring with modules, with IoT modules that we put in certain parts of the city. In that way, we complement the information and we have a much larger scale of information about air quality.
Now, as you mentioned off the outset, air pollution is an issue that kills more people than COVID has. Even pre-COVID, it was essentially the silent, invisible killer. Why don't you think we pay attention to it?
Well, I think it has been normalized maybe over the years that this is a normal course of action as cities grow, as companies go to be in more spaces. So unfortunately, there has been an economical rise in countries, but that has been disregarding the environmental impact of this growth, right? So I think that has been the let's say the main point that has not been taken into account by governmental institutions, by companies, and now the situation is changing because of COVID-19 also. People is paying more attention to sustainability and to the environment itself.
Is the market you're aiming at now, I assume it's global, because there are countries all over the world that are tackling the same challenge of that pairing of the development and sustainability.
Definitely. Now although we are now in Peru, we are now starting our growth in Ecuador and Argentina in South America. We plan to scale regionally, and then we definitely can go globally. Because there is a growth of this market, no? The alternative use of technologies for pollution is now a trend. It's now a trend that is growing because more companies, the citizenship itself is worried about this problem, and the governmental institutions are taking more action into this.
Now, As I said to you at the outset of the call, a couple years ago I spent some time in Peru, in Lima. I absolutely loved it. We'd go back in an instant. I think it's at the top of our list of places we'll go after COVID. But Lima is not a place that we would have thought of with respect to where you'd build a technology company.
Definitely, Dan. It has been a very, let's say, interesting journey in the last years. Peru is not known for, let's say, things that are made in Peru, either technology or any other. We usually export the materials and we receive the produced things back. No? So there is a need in our country to start developing the capacities for startups like ours or others to develop technology, to develop good technology that can achieve a great impact and then take it to other parts of the world. No? So it has been a very difficult journey, but we have been encountering many good opportunities with some institutions from the government that promote the development of science and technology within our country.
You've just said something really interesting, and it's made me think. As given the cost goes down with drone technology to monitor over a certain area, really, I think you could say it democratizes air quality monitoring. Does that actually, do you all of a sudden become somewhat the eyeballs in the sky to make sure that people aren't polluting?
Yes, let's say we are the guardians of the air. That's how we call ourselves.
Peru is a country in transition. As we're filming this episode, Peruvians have been headed to the polls for presidential elections, and the early results seem to indicate that they brought a new president into power, one who's promising Peruvians no more poor in a rich country. And that's the thing. Peru's economy has been steadily growing thanks to mining, agriculture, and tourism, but that hasn't translated into real tangible wealth for most Peruvians. And while tech and startups aren't necessarily a surefire path to more equitable distribution, they're at minimum a path to building solutions to help ordinary people in Peru and potentially all over the world. Hey, that's it for today. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and press the like button, and I'll see you next time for more of Their World, Our Future.